So in the series of Fundamental of Maths, in the previous class we had discussed about the axis and coordinate. We had given the emphasis on the axis and coordinate part. So today we will be discussing about the distance formula. The distance formula, it is a very core part of the coordinate geometry. This includes the basic distance between the 2 points. These points may be located anywhere in the space, and we will be calculating the distance between the 2 points using some formulas, and these formulas are very important because these are the major, you can say this forms the major formulas for the other parts of the coordinate geometry too. Okay, so we will be discussing some of the formulas here. This basic formula, it is known as the distance formula. Okay, so distance formula, it is basically divided into two parts: the internal distance formula and the external distance formula. In this case we will be calculating the very first part, that is the distance formula. This is basically the distance between the two particular points in the coordinate axis. In the earlier class we had discussed about the axis and coordinates. This will form the base part for the distance formula. Now I will draw one schematic diagram here. This is the schematic diagram. It is the x-axis, it is the y-axis. Up to this point, this is the origin or the intersection point of the two axes. Up to this point, this is known as the positive x-axis and this is known as the negative x-axis. This is known as the positive y-axis and this is known as the negative y-axis. Okay. And we had already studied, suppose if one point lies on the first quadrant. So on the first quadrant both the coordinates are positive. So the x will be positive and the y will be positive. Suppose if a particular point 2, 3, it is lying on the first quadrant. And the second quadrant we had already studied and we know the basic concept behind the same, that the x is negative. Suppose it is -2 and suppose the one point it is there, it is 3. So these 2 points are lying anywhere in the space whose coordinates we had already defined using this image. The x value is 2, y value is 3 for the first quadrant, and the x value is -2, y value is the same, that is 3 for the second quadrant. Okay, so now we will be finding the distance. We will entitle this point as A23 and B -23. Okay. So we will be applying the distance formula so as to calculate the distance between these 2 points. So the distance formula is equal to root over under root x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. Understood? So this is the basic distance formula which we are using in the coordinate geometry so as to find the distance between the 2 points. Okay, so as to find the distance between the 2 points, and this is the basic formula which is applicable, which will be applicable in all the type of sums wherever the distance is required. And the distance is the very important part of the coordinate geometry. Without the distance part we will not be able to solve any further numerical. Understood? So first of all, this is the point which we have to remember. This is a very important formula in the coordinate geometry. Under root x2 minus x1 ka whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. So in this case we will be defining the x1 x2 y1 y2 for the respective points a23 and b -23. So x1 is equal to 2, x1 is equal to 2, x2 is equal to -2, y1 is equal to 3 and y2 is equal to also 3. So we had already pre-assumed that x1 will be equal to 2, x2 will be equal to -2, y1 is equal to +3 and y2 is equal to +3. We can take anyone x1 x2 based on our convenience. We had already taken this type of the conventions. So as we had already discussed that the distance formula is under root x2 minus x1 ka whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. So the A point, that is will be the intersection of the x coordinate and the y coordinate. At A, suppose it is 0, it is 1, it is 2, it is 0, it is 1, it is 2 and it is 3. So the intersection of the point x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3 gives the point A to 3. Similarly, for the B also, x is equal to minus 2 and y is equal to 3. Now we will back substitute. We will substitute the x1, x2 value, y1, y2 value in the distance formula which we had already mentioned here. So post back substitution, it will be x2 minus x1, that will be minus 2 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square, that is 3 minus 3 the whole square, that will be under root minus 4 the whole square plus 0 the square, that will be, after solving, minus 4 the whole square, it will be plus 16, it will be plus minus 4. So distance will be always positive, that will be plus 4. Minus 4, it is not possible, so we will be taking distance as plus 4 square units. That is the distance. So we had back substituted all the values of x1 and x2 in the basic distance formula, and we had obtained the value as 4 square unit. The distance will be always positive. We are not taking minus 4 as consideration, only plus 4 will be the possible value. So the distance between these 2 points A 2 3 and B minus 2 3 will be plus 4 square units. Suppose we have to calculate the second type, type 2 will be there. We will be taking type 2. In the type 2, we are taking the distance from the origin. The universal law states that the coordinate of origin is 0 0. The coordinate of origin will be 0 0. And suppose we have to calculate the point A minus 4 0. So we have to calculate the distance between 0 origin 0 0 and A minus 4 0. In this case, after drawing the schematic diagram, we will be finding the distance between these 2 points. Suppose this is the origin whose coordinates is 0 0 and A will be there, A minus 4 0. So we have to calculate the distance between OA. The OA, we have to calculate the distance between OA. Again, we will be applying the same distance and section formula. Prior applying this distance and section formula, we will be defining the x1, x2, y1, y2. So x1 will be equal to 0, x2 will be equal to minus 4, then y1 will be equal to 0 and y2 will be equal to 0. Understood? So we have got all the access points x1, x2, y1, y2. Now we will be substituting these values on the formula which I had depicted above. That is x2 will be equal to minus 4 minus 0 the whole square plus y2 minus y1, that is 0 square. Again OA will be equal to 16 plus minus 4. Again minus 4 will not be, we are not taking as a negative value. We will be taking plus 4, it will be plus 4 square units. So this is the basic how we are calculating the distance between the 2 points. This is applicable, this formula is applicable for the 2D, where length and breadth is given, only 2 axis is given, that is x axis and y axis. We will be extending this formula for the third coordinates, that is z axis, and that will be applicable for the 3-dimensional. But now, as of now, we will be focusing mainly on the 2 axis, that is x axis and y axis. Okay, so we had taken the previous 2 to 3 examples in which we had calculated the distance between the 2 points irrespective of their location, whether they will be located in the space anywhere, no matters, but we will be applying the distance and section formula for basically calculating the distance between the 2 points. Now this particular equation, it is applicable for y is equal to mx plus c. This is the famous equation of the straight line where m is the slope and c is the intercept on the y-axis. C will be the intercept on the y-axis. So this is the basic equation, y is equal to mx plus c. Slope, we will be using it as dy by dx, and c is the intercept on the y-axis. Now I will be depicting this equation on the graph, that will be like this. Suppose It will be origin x, x dash, y and y dash. So it is known as, this equation is known as equation of a straight line. Equation of a straight line, it is like this. This is the equation is y is equal to mx plus c, where this is the c, this is the part c, that is known as the intercept on the y-axis. It is the theta, the angle between the equation and the x-axis. The tan theta is equal to slope is equal to m is equal to dy by dx. So this is the basic part. After calculating the distance formula, we will be dealing basically with the equation of the straight line. We will be calculating the distance, we will be calculating the slope and all. So this is all about regarding the distance formula. So please like, share and subscribe my channel, and please do comment also if you want to have a further example, if you want to give some more information. I am always here 24/7 so as to assist you. Please comment on the channel. It will be beneficial for me and also for you also. Thanks.